we're all going to have to wake up tomorrow morning and work like hell to move the world to the place that we prefer it to be. I just want to point out, just as a matter of perspective, that the lessons that our pundits take away from these results, that they will pronounce with certainty, will be wrong. And that turned out to be a winning message again, which led to an insurrection.
What do you get when you mix a former president, a conspiracy theory, and a complete disregard for dental health? Trump's 2024 campaign, apparently. Jon Stewart's latest video is about to make your jaw drop. Hopefully not from lack of fluoride. Curious how we went from build the wall to ban the fluoride? Stick around as we unpack Trump's nuttiest campaign promises yet. Warning, this video may cause uncontrollable laughter and a sudden urge to hug your dentist. Think about this. The legendary comedian Jon Stewart is prepared to go up against the orange turd with nothing more than a microphone and his biting wit. It would be the same as seeing David take on Goliath, only that Goliath would be sporting an awful spray tan and a toupee. Stewart treats Trump's most outrageous campaign pledges as if they were a treasure trove of comedic material, and my goodness, he hits the jackpot. First, he brings up Trump's infamous wall, the one that Mexico was supposed to foot the bill for. I suppose Mexico's check got misplaced in the mail, Stewart jokes. Perhaps it got buried by Trump's tax returns. The problem is, these pledges make perfect sense in theory, but sound fantastic to Trump's following. Giving everyone a free unicorn is like making a false promise. What a fantastical idea. But where on earth are you going to track down that many unicorns, Donnie? You have to ask how anyone could believe this drivel after watching Stewart utilize Trump's own comments, as if you were to witness a used car dealer attempting to offer you a vehicle devoid of wheels. It's the top vehicle. Everyone. How quickly it goes will astound you. Having no wheels means you won't have to worry about flat tires. Using amusing comparisons, our comic hero dissects Trump's reasoning, or lack thereof. He said that Trump's healthcare proposal is like a birthday cake that is filled with sawdust and promises that are never kept. It looks great on the outside, but take a bite and you'll be spitting out wood chips for weeks.
Is that we don't really know anything, and that we're going to come out of this election and we're going to make all kinds of pronouncements about what this country is and what this world is. And the truth is, we're not really going to know shit. And that turned out to be a winning message again, which led to an insurrection.
The suspense increases as Stewart continues to make increasingly absurd promises. It's like being a spectator at a clown car show. You'd think there's no way there could be more clowns, but there are always more. The true benefit, though, Stewart then uses Trump's concerns about fluoride as a springboard for a hilarious joke. Trump famously called fluoride one of the greatest scams in history in a previous tweet. The reason behind this is that attempting to avoid tooth decay is the epitome of a wicked government plan, according to Stewart. Donnie, what comes next? A dental floss-related conspiracy theory? The crowd is in fits of laughter by the conclusion. Stewart hit all the perfect notes, making us laugh and think, as if she had done comic acupuncture on Trump's campaign. You're saying there's an unlimited supply of bull. Get a plate, because Trump has a new special on the menu. Unity soup served with a knuckle sandwich. Do you recall when he was fervently advocating for a united America? Just in case you were wondering, the notion didn't endure nearly as long as he did. He has officially switched his platform from "Let's make America great again" to "Let's make reporters fear again." What a dramatic shift in the cuisine. A new melody was being sung by Donnie Diapers early in his 2024 campaign. He stated, "We need to come together as a nation and heal the divisions that have plagued us." How kind of you. It was as if a grizzly bear were attempting to throw a tea party. His Making America Great Again campaign was well suited to this. Nevertheless, nothing says great like a nation rallying behind a man whose hairpiece gives the impression that it's attempting to flee. But our orange pal saw the light and decided unity wasn't worth it in the blink of an eye. He is now openly making jokes about physically harming journalists, saying, "Do you want to see me knock the hell out of people backstage?" He addressed the audience at a recent rally. Sorry, Donnie, but no. We've had enough of your outbursts on Twitter, Truth Social, or whichever forum you're using to vent your frustrations at the moment. Like seeing a toddler go from the sharing is caring stage to a mine tantrum. It's no longer us versus them. Trump now claims it's me versus everyone who doesn't worship the ground I walk on. To describe his detractors, he uses the words crooks and horrible people. La excuse.
I just want to point out, just as a matter of perspective, that the lessons that our pundits take away from these results that they will pronounce with certainty will be wrong. But this isn't the end. I promise you, this is not the end.
Wow, Trumpy, please be more forthright about your true feelings. And that's not all. Depending on your level of concern for principles such as free speech and democratic government, it may be worse. An excerpt from Trump's most recent popular song might sound like this. To get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. Yes, it is correct. He is essentially utilizing journalists as proxies. Perhaps freedom of the press in Trump's America translates to freedom to use the press as body armor. And with that, everyone. In the blink of an eye, Trump went from calling for unity to threatening reporters. He's apparently playing a game of good cop, bad cop with himself, and bad cop is clearly winning. Mood rings used to be so mysterious, you know. Well, Trump is gonna make those seem like a picnic in comparison. Imagine instead of building blocks, a young child is given nuclear codes. Very terrifying, isn't it? The worst part is that it's not merely a nightmare. What happens when you give power to a spoiled brat like our orange friend Trump is on full display here. In this stage, he acts out tantrums and insults rather than tantrums typical of the terrible twos. And when people tell him no or point out his errors, Trump reacts like a kid. And have you witnessed his outbursts on social media? What you're seeing is the behavior of a child who hasn't had enough sleep due to an excess of sweets. He flip-flops from praising his own greatness and labeling anyone who disagrees with him as a loser or fake news. You'd get whiplash from it. The terrifying thing is that this isn't your average reality show. The repercussions of Trump's erratic behavior and lack of self-control might be devastating. Let your mind wander to a scenario where he initiates a trade war over a leader of another country making fun of his hair. What if instead he decides to tweet about nuclear weapons because he is angry with North Korea? It's like if you were to hand a toddler matches and expect them to keep the house from catching fire. Many issues may arise, according to the experts, if someone with such a volatile disposition were to be in control. These days, it's about more than just tacky remarks and embarrassing tweets. The actions of Trump have the potential to destabilize our international ties, impede governmental progress, and endanger our nation's security. Not to mention the most terrifying aspect, this toddler who throws tantrums has access to nuclear codes. Everyone is correct. That same individual who has no self-control on social media might one day get out of bed on the wrong side and trigger a nuclear war. It's the same as handing a child a loaded gun and crossing your fingers that he doesn't use it. But hold on a second, this story about a youngster has a twist that will make your head spin.
And we have to regroup, and we have to continue to fight and continue to work day in and day out. We're all gonna have to wake up tomorrow morning and work like hell to move the world to the place that we prefer it to be.
However, get ready for a mind-boggling turn of events in this story for toddlers. What if I told you that many Americans are still on Team Trump, even though he has tantrums, lies, and the ability to trigger nuclear disasters? As if you've seen it all before, your pal is reuniting with their toxic ex. Your gut tells you to slap them and shout, "Why?" However, MAGA caps are in order, because you might be surprised by the answer. Imagine America's strange obsession with a man who resembles a cross between a Cheeto and a toupee. Trump maintains an adoring fan base that would inspire envy in cult leaders in spite of everything. And I do mean everything. His adoring public seems to grow in proportion to his level of outrageousness. What a tragic love story. Though he has attempted to depose the government and been found guilty of 34 felonies, Trump's followers simply say, "May, nobody's perfect." It's as if they're engaged in a game of how low can you go, with Trump clearly winning. His supporters would yell, "That's our guy," even if he were to live stream the destruction of the Constitution. However, the most shocking part is that Trump's backing isn't coming from a single entity. He's attracting people from all over like a Pokemon Go game for politics. White males, young men from union households, first-time voters, the elderly, and even members of certain minority groups are all being discussed here. How absolutely astounding! Then what gives? What gives Trump's supporters the will to continue sipping from the same well? The professionals describe it as cult-like. Those that back Trump do so because they have deep feelings for him. In their eyes, he is their savior from the evil political system. They're all decked up in "Trump's my superhero" tees, but instead of rescuing the planet, he's simply tweeting in all caps. The disturbing thing is that this isn't merely a strange phase that the United States is experiencing. The current wave of support for Trump has the potential to permanently alter the shape of American politics. Just picture a world where politicians constantly believe it's acceptable to act like Trumpy.